This is a first in a series of database and data modeling videos we're going to show. And in this one, we're just going to talk about why this is even in the course in the first place. And it's pretty cool stuff. So when you look at it, think about all the possibilities. It may appear overwhelming, but the reality is when we're done with this portion of the course on databases, I think you're going to have a much better sense of why this really matters to organizations and also to you. So if you look through this tech plugin document, they describe relational databases and just some foundational elements of databases: entities, attributes, relationships. And if you scroll down, you'll see the definition of an entity. A data model is just a way to represent the data and its relationships in an organization. And data modeling is the first step towards building a database and to be administered in a database management system. So we start with a data model, which is, think of it as the building blocks. And it's pretty simple stuff once you get the hang of it. First, an entity, a data entity, sometimes called a table, is a person, place, thing, transaction, or event about which information is stored that's of interest to us. So we have things like customers, orders, items, distributors. And a customer is described, that's the person, place, in this case a person, of which we want to collect data, which information is stored. It's a table. And what kind of data goes in there? Customer number, first name, last name, zip code, you get the idea. What does that mean? What does this customer entity mean? Well, it looks like this. It's just a table in Excel. So if you want to think of customer as a data entity, well, this is a customer table, and that's how it gets depicted. So it's actually pretty useful to think of it this way. Now, why does it matter? Well, this idea, Microsoft, I think over the last probably 8 years or so, has been working toward building spreadsheets and databases and other tools. They're merging them all into one. So here's a simple customer list. Here is a simple pivot table of sales. And if we look what's behind the sales on all these different categories, this is Excel 2016. It actually existed in 2013 and maybe even versions of 2010. But if you look, you'll see here's that same customer table, only it's sitting in something called a data model. And if we look over at internet sales, you will see a link. Here's the customer key, and these are customers, and it points over for particular orders, and it points over to this table of customers, which has gender and marital status. So the important idea is it's two different tables, and that matters because we don't want to make errors, which means if we have a customer 11254, their gender is male, their marital status is married. When we look at the internet sales, we don't put that stuff over here because it sits over in the customer table. All we need is this customer key, and it jumps over and connects to this customer table. Now you may say, well, who really cares? It's just what's going on behind Excel, and that's fine, and we can look here, and this is a pivot table we'll learn later, and we have lots of these things over here, so we can run all sorts of queries and tools and things. But here's a few other ideas. One is, let's look at Access, which is Microsoft's database, and we'll see that here's a customer list table over here, same exact thing. And you'll notice here in Access, we have relationships. So if this isn't enough to make you go berserk, I don't know what will be. But These complex diagrams are called entity relationship diagrams. This is the Northwind trading database. It used to come with Access. It's about as, well, it's not as complicated as they come, but you can do a lot with it. But essentially, you have customers and you have orders, and you'll notice, if I could hack this thing out of here a little bit, there's a relationship between these two things. So here's the customer ID, here's the order ID, and you'll notice down here, more than likely, if I can find it, there's the customer ID, same thing. So here's relationships and Access. Let me go to one more place. This is something called Power BI, which is a tool that lets you make all these cool graphics. In this case, where are our customers? And this is pretty neat stuff. We wanted to know what the urban, whatever this is, moderation segment, you'll notice this tool allows us, it automatically reacts to what we've chosen and adjusts. So what is behind it? Well, a bunch of tables and some relationships. So all of these things are converging into one. What does it matter to you? Well, we're going to look through this one document, this tech plugin document 5, and it explains most of the fundamentals to do all of this stuff, which is pretty cool. Some of the data visualization stuff is beyond the scope of this class, but understanding why you want to put data into different tables and manage their relationships, that's what we want to learn here. And that's what this section is all about.